Hello and welcome back to Now Go See It. I'm Tony. Today we're talking about artificial intelligence in travel. You can visit our website, nowgoseeit.com, for loads of information about worldwide travel. A lot of people are saying that the big thing for travel in 2025 will be artificial intelligence. So that got me thinking. How powerful is artificial intelligence? What can it do? How will it change travel? I've seen a lot of airlines are adding artificial intelligence features to their in-flight entertainment, as well as their chat features, as well as cruise lines, hotels. Artificial intelligence is becoming part of the travel experience. So that got me thinking, what if I were to use ChatGPT, kind of the king of the artificial intelligence world right now, as my travel agent? What if I were to turn over all of my travel decisions to ChatGPT? So I've decided I have a few days off of work coming up, and I'm going to let ChatGPT plan my entire vacation. I'm going to let it plan where I stay. I'm going to let it plan where I go, what I do, everything. Right now I'm a blank slate. I haven't decided where I'll go in the world, what I'll do, anything. ChatGPT is going to pick it all. I'm going to, of course, set some parameters. But other than that, ChatGPT is going to make every decision for my travels. And then at the end, we're going to see how it did and what the pluses and minuses are of using ChatGPT in this way. So here are my parameters for my 5-day vacation. I have asked ChatGPT the following. Please create a 5-day vacation for me starting January 22nd. I'm open to traveling anywhere in the world with these guidelines. The destination must be safe for solo male travelers from the United States. The destination must not require a prearranged visa for travel from the United States. The destination must be reachable via airplane with nonstop or one-stop route from Los Angeles. My per-day travel budget is between $100 and $200 US dollar for accommodations, food, transportation, and local activities. My travel preferences are as follows. I like active cities, UNESCO sites, exploring new cultures, and keeping busy while traveling. I typically don't enjoy spending the day at the beach, wine country, and I prefer to visit someplace warm. And then I list a bunch of the places that I've visited before, and I just tell ChatGPT that I'd like to visit someplace new and to avoid those places. So let's give it a whirl and see where I am spending my January vacation. All right, here we go. ChatGPT has responded. Based on your preferences and travel guidelines, I recommend you visit Edinburgh, Scotland for your 5-day vacation. Okay, not really a warm weather January destination, Northern United Kingdom, but okay. Here's how the destination aligns with your criteria. All right, let's see what it says. Safety, Edinburgh is a safe city for solo travelers, check. Offering a welcoming atmosphere, great. Visa requirements, as a US citizen you can enter the United Kingdom without a prearranged visa for tourism purposes, great. Flight accessibility, non-stop flights are available to Edinburgh with one stop, making your journey convenient, great. Budget friendly, Edinburgh offers a range of accommodations, dining options, and public transportation that can comfortably fit into your daily budget, great. The cultural and historical attractions, the city's old and new towns are recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, providing rich historical and cultural experiences. Fantastic. Climate. Oh yes, here's the one we really need to talk about. Well, Edinburgh's weather in January is cool, averaging around 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius. Yes, that is cool. The city's vibrant cultural scene and numerous indoor attractions ensure you'll have plenty to explore without spending time on the beach. Okay, it really clung to the beach part of that. All right, well, maybe that's my fault for the way I asked. And then it gives a sample itinerary for Edinburgh, what to do on the 5 different days, and some additional considerations. All right, cool. Well, from here, I'm going to ask it to expand the daily itinerary. So stick with me and we'll see how it goes. Hey friends, we've already encountered our first snafu on the ChatGPT travel adventure. The list of requirements, number 2 was that the destination not require a visa for US travelers for entry into the country. However, starting January 2025, the United Kingdom started to require visas for a lot of travelers from around the world, including US travelers. So ChatGPT was not aware of this situation. Fortunately, I remembered that that was coming soon. So I randomly checked online to see when that was starting. And that's when I found out that it had already started. So I quickly applied online, which it said on there that it takes 3 days to be approved, which made me very nervous because I planned to leave in less than 24 hours. But I was approved almost instantly. I got up from my computer, walked away, and the email came already. So we are back on track to go to Edinburgh. If you're keeping track, that's -1 for ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to prepare a packing list for me for the trip. Specifically, what I typed into ChatGPT is using a minimalist packing style fitting only into a European-sized carry-on, make me, an unfussy man, a packing list for this trip. Let's see how we do. Doing just like a mental review of what I normally bring on trips, I think ChatGPT actually did a pretty good job. We're gonna head to the airport.
Please spread the cabin for arrival.
With your assigned seat number for takeoff and landing.
Well, well, well. Look who arrived.
I beat you.
We have made it to Edinburgh, Scotland. I know I said this was going to be a solo trip, but Ellie decided to take off work after all, so he is here with me. We flew in, got in on different flights about an hour apart. Our AI friend told us to take a taxi for approximately 25 pounds. So far, the AI is spot on. It says it's going to take about 25 minutes to get to the Moxie Edinburgh, where we're staying.
Do you think the Moxie Hotel will have Moxie?
She's got Moxie.
This is your hotel here?
We're here at the Moxie. I don't think I've stayed in this brand before. It's nice. It's a little tiny. The price is right. The lobby was kind of cool.
So the Moxie was selected as our hotel after I asked ChatGPT for hotel recommendations for my stay. First, it gave me 3 recommendations. The first recommendation was okay. It was right in the city center, a good one. The next recommendation was kind of weird. I don't even think it was a hotel. I don't know what it was talking about. And the third one was a hostel, which is a no-go. And no shade if you're in the hostel life, but I'm too old for that nonsense. So I decided I would give a clarifying statement to ChatGPT. I let it know that I'm a member of the Hilton Honors and Marriott Bonvoy rewards programs. and that I would be interested in those brands. And it suggested 4 brands in the Marriott category. The first one was a little too expensive, very centrally located, but too expensive. And the other 2 were pretty good deals and centrally located. I went with the Moxie because it was a little bit cheaper. It's £110 per night. So that's what landed us here. ChatGPT has brought us to the Moxie. So far so good. We've had a long day of traveling. The ChatGPT has advised us for the evening. By the way, I printed it out. You can convert the itinerary to a PDF for easy access. It told us to check into the Moxie Edinburgh Fountain Bridge and settle into our room at 9:30 p.m., which is pretty spot on to what time we got here, which is pretty impressive. And then at 10 p.m. it says if you're hungry, grab a late night snack at the Moxie's on-site bar or a nearby pub like the Hanging Bat. And we just looked up the Hanging Bat on Google Maps. It actually looks like a pretty cool place. We're not really hungry, and like I said, we're pretty tired from the journey, so we're gonna forego any late night snacks and drinks and go to bed instead. And then it says at 22:30, which is 10:30 p.m., we are to rest up for an action-packed day ahead. Also, we reviewed our day ahead. There are 2 stops that ChatGPT has advised that we pre-book our tickets in advance. So I will be pre-booking those tickets this evening. We'll check in bright and early tomorrow morning. Our day 1 starts at 8 a.m. with breakfast. Good morning. It's officially day 1. Today, we are starting with breakfast at Loudon's Fountain Bridge, which is just a 5-minute walk from your hotel, according to artificial intelligence. We are to try their hearty, full Scottish breakfast, which, again, according to artificial intelligence, is just £12.50. Breakfast?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate it. It's a nice light meal to start the day.
Yes, how did you enjoy your Loudon's experience?
Oh, the scone, marvelous. Simply marvelous. It was really good, actually.
Stop 1 has been completed. We've had a delicious breakfast at Loudon's Cafe, as recommended by the ChatGPT. Had the full breakfast as recommended. It was quite delicious. The ChatGPT said that it would cost £12.50. It was actually £15. Prices are on the rise, apparently. And now we are walking from Loudon's to the castle entrance. We have our castle entry tickets all pre-purchased. What do you think?
So far I like everything, but it's quite cold.
Oh yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. I specifically asked for a 5-day vacation in January to a warm location, and they sent me to northern United Kingdom here in Scotland. And also there's apparently a winter storm coming starting tomorrow, so that should add a little bit of excitement. Hello from Edinburgh Castle. The artificial intelligence suggested that we get here between 9:30 and 10 o'clock and that we'd spend about until noon exploring the castle. It's now 11:43 and we're headed out from the castle, so pretty spot on. We toured the castle by ourselves. Didn't do a guided tour or anything like that, just kind of checked it out, saw the big sights. Specifically, the artificial intelligence wanted to make sure that we saw the crown jewels, which we did see, the Stone of Destiny, which we did not see because it was moved out of the museum. So that was a little error that the artificial intelligence made. No longer here, it was moved to some other museum. We also saw the Great Hall, and viewpoints capture stunning panoramas of the city. Plenty of great views from up top. There's a man over there polishing his cannon. Afternoon plans. We are headed to lunch at the Oink on Victoria Street. So that's our next destination, Victoria Street, for lunch at the Oink, which is a restaurant with pulled pork sandwiches. We walked over there, looked at the pulled pork sandwiches. They looked delicious. Very cheap, actually. It said that the hog roast sandwiches were 6 to 8 pounds. The small was £5.95, and the large was about 8. So pretty spot on with the prices there. We ended up skipping lunch just because breakfast was so gigantic. But then we walked down Victoria Street. The AI says that it is known for its colorful storefronts and unique boutiques, which we popped in a few of those. The big, most popular place there is the Museum Context, which is a Harry Potter themed store. It's not really a museum, they call it the Museum Context. I guess there is a few museum-y type things in there to look for, but it's really just a gigantic gift shop. If you're a Harry Potter fan, it's definitely a must-see, and I can definitely see during the peak season, that place must be super crowded and super annoying to get through because it's in that same Harry Potter vein where everything is very, very tight, very hard to get through. Even just the few people that were in there while we were there, it was hard to get around the staircases. They're very narrow and all that. Like I said, if you're a Harry Potter fan, definitely something to check out. Then it told us to check out the Royal Mile. The Royal Mile is basically just the tourist shopping street in the neighborhood. To be honest, that was kind of a bust for me. It actually had us doing that from 1:45 until 3 p.m., which was a very long time. I mean, it took a long time to walk down and back, but to be honest, it was mostly just tourist junk on the street. You know, one of those where every gift shop is the same as the last gift shop. It suggested that we go into Cadenhead's whiskey shop where you can sample and purchase local scotch. We went in there, they had all kinds of different things. The salesperson seemed to know a lot about the different alcohols that they sell, but it wasn't really like an experience or anything. It was just kind of a whiskey shop. Looked cool though, if you're into whiskey, so it's a place to check out. And it also advised that we go to the Scottish Textiles Showcase to browse authentic tartans and knitwear. I mean, I guess that's a thing to do here. It looked like one of the best places to buy those things, and there were signs in the windows that said it was authentic Scottish goods and products sourced locally. So if you're here to buy those sort of things, definitely stop in. We did a little window shopping, but we are not here to buy tartans, so we moved on very quickly. Other than that, kind of a bust on that street, but the ChatGPT doesn't know that we don't like shopping for trinkets. So then advised touring the St. Giles Cathedral. Yeah, it was pretty spot on with a little visit to this spot. It's free to go in, but suggested donation is £6. The AI said that the suggested donation was £5, up to £6 these days. A little price hike. There's a little donation box right in the entrance, or you can just tap your card on the little tapper box too, which is handy. It said that it's to set aside an hour for the visit. That was a bit much. Read all the plaques, saw the things in about 20 minutes. I guess if you're super into churches and architecture and religious history and things like that, you could poke around for an hour, but I was in and out in about 20 minutes. I will say I got to give kudos to the AI because it did give in the tips to not miss the Thistle Chapel, which is tucked away in the back corner, which is definitely one of the neatest parts of the church. It's just like a little corner chapel with carved wood, an impressive little part of the chapel, which I might have overlooked had it not made a point of making sure that I sought it out. So I'm sure a lot of the people walking around in there do not know about it hiding in the corner there. So a little secret in the corner that the AI helped me find. So overall, win for the AI. Moving on, the next activity was to visit the Real Mary King's Close, which is kind of an experience where you tour some underground parts of the city. It advised that we book tickets in advance, and I'm glad that we did because I don't think we would have been able to get in the tour if we didn't book in advance, because it seemed with the large group that was in our tour that it probably was sold out. If we would have bought on the spot, probably wouldn't have got in, and it was the last tour of the day. So it advised us to buy in advance, and that was probably good advice. But it was a tour of the old parts of the city that are underground. It was kind of part of the city that was demolished, and a government building was built on top of it. And these sort of tunnels and old parts of the city were left behind, just abandoned below. A good history lesson of the past. There's a bunch of different experiences. We just did the history tour, but there are like some play acting, history comes alive type of experiences that you can do if you are into that. But it was a pretty cool experience. It took about an hour, definitely enjoyable. And the ChatGPT said that it would take about an hour. So that was that. Then in the evening, it advised that we have dinner at the Mussel Inn Seafood Restaurant on Rose Street. Since Elliot joined the operation, we opted out of that restaurant as he is kind of allergic to seafood. Since we are bound by ChatGPT, I asked it for a new suggestion for dinner, and it suggested that instead we go to Howie's on Victoria Street for traditional Scottish dishes like haggis or steak pie, and the prices range from £17 to £22. So we did head over to Howie's on Victoria Street, which was a big win for sure. Howie's was a great place to eat, and I did try the haggis, which I guess is like beef cheek. I asked the waitress what it was, and she explained it all to me, and I wish I wouldn't have known that it was beef cheek. It was delicious, but I think I would have enjoyed it more had I not known what it was. But I guess it's like the Scottish national dish, so who am I to judge? It was delicious, so A+ there. And then I also had the casserole of the day, which was a steak and venison casserole. Elliot had a chicken dish. It was one of the best meals we've had in a long time at a restaurant, so well done there. And Elliot got the sticky toffee pudding as his dessert. So it was a win all around. I would say that ChatGPT was exaggerating a little bit by saying that the price range was £17 to £22. Most of the dishes there were definitely more expensive than that. And then ChatGPT gave us the suggestion of heading over a nearby pub like Blackbird for a nightcap. We may just do that. Update for tomorrow though. One of the biggest mistakes that ChatGPT did was suggest that we come to Scotland in the winter because we are headed for a winter storm. In fact, while we were in the restaurant, the emergency alarm started going off on everyone's phone because there is a severe weather emergency coming. I guess it's going to be a very bad storm that's going to hit starting tomorrow. It's going to be so stormy that a lot of the local businesses have closed up for the day just out of precautions. A lot of the national museums and places are closed. Bad enough weather that it isn't just a rainy day that we can go inside. It's actually a bad enough winter storm that the inside places are even closed and the buses aren't running.
Well, as you can see from this map, it's a giant storm where coastal areas could see winds of up to 100 miles an hour.
So we're kind of stuck in the hotel. So far, the biggest mess up of the ChatGPT vacation is that it selected a place that the potential for bad enough weather to cancel an entire day of the vacation is there. How much can I blame ChatGPT for the weather? Obviously, not very much. That could happen anywhere, anytime. But when I requested a destination with nice weather, maybe it failed on that.
We're gonna go and get a nightcap somewhere.
It's a tropical fruit bat.
So since we are doing everything that ChatGPT says on this trip, I have plugged in the weather forecast for the day, let ChatGPT know that all the places that it suggested for tomorrow are closed, and it has advised the following. It says that we should have breakfast at the hotel or at Loughton's Fountain Bridge, where we had breakfast today. They are nearby and offer warm, comforting breakfast options like porridge, pancakes, and a full Scottish breakfast. So we're gonna feel better with porridge and pancakes. And then at 9:30, we're going to return to the hotel and stay indoors as the storm intensifies. Check with the hotel staff and see if they have any board games, books, or other activities available for guests. Next, it suggests streaming or reading. It literally says, bring a book. Great, just here relaxing, watching Netflix on my phone. Love that for me. And then for lunch, it says, eat at Moxie's Bar or at nearby cafe, only if weather conditions allow. In the afternoon, it says to stay indoors to prioritize safety. Plan future travel. Maybe not using ChatGPT this time. Maybe a Lonely Planet book or one of those websites like nowgoseeit.com that has travel itineraries and suggestions for places to go that don't have bad weather in January. It also suggests catching up on local history. Read about Scottish culture or history online. Yeah, I just pull up Wikipedia and read about the places that I could see that are just outside. That won't make me feel bad. And for dinner, it says that we should go to the hotel bar and drink away our problems. Thank you for your services, ChatGPT. Oh, and on a related subject, we did go to the local grocery store to buy supplies just in case we really couldn't find any restaurants that were open. and I found this gigantic Cadbury egg. So when things get bad tomorrow and I'm depressed about losing an entire day of my travel time, we're all gonna crack open this gigantic Cadbury egg and see if it's filled completely with cream filling. So that's something to look forward to. That's all for now. We'll see you on day 2.
We can't leave. It's a storm of the century. Everything's closed. Everything. No trains, no buses. Wind gusts of up to 100 miles per hour.
So what have we been doing? We went down to the lobby, suggested we have some board games. We went down to the hotel lobby for lunch and had what can only be described as a mediocre hotel lobby lunch. Good evening. We've reached 5 p.m. at the Moxie Hotel. We haven't left the room since our last update. It's still quite windy. Giant Cadbury egg time. Here it is. Cadbury cream egg. It says unleash the goo. The Cadbury factory is just like maybe a 2-hour drive, maybe more than that, a few hours south of here.
Release the goo.
Release the goo. Oh, here we are. We have a giant egg.
Jesus Christ.
And also a regular size egg. A regular, traditional Cadbury cream egg. And then a giant Cadbury cream egg.
It sounds hollow. Are they supposed to be hollow inside?
I don't know. You have to unleash the goo. There better be some goo in there, otherwise I don't know what you're unleashing.
Okay.
Does it feel like there's something inside?
No.
It feels hollow.
Oh.
Oh, he's cracked it open.
There's nothing in it.
It's hollow.
WTF.
Thanks for nothing, Cadbury.
Thanks for nothing, AI.
Thanks for nothing, AI. Thanks for nothing, Cadbury, although we're still open to sponsorship. Really, we don't even have to pay anything. Just keep sending chocolate bars, and I'll do anything you say. Anything. It's the end of day 2. The storm has mostly subsided. Tomorrow, we wake up and are back on track with our AI-powered trip. I've asked the artificial intelligence to do its best job to combine the itinerary that it created for day 2 and day 3 into an action-packed, star-studded day of adventure around the city. It suggested that we have breakfast at a place called Clarita's Tea Room, located near the Palace of Holyroodhouse. Unfortunately, that place is closed during the month of January, so we weren't able to do that. I bounced that off of the ChatGPT, and it kept giving me suggestions for other places that were closed. In fact, it bounced so many options back to me that were closed or not opening until like 11 a.m. that it finally used up all of the credits that were available for the ChatGPT 4.0. So I ran out of options for breakfast, which is actually okay. We just kind of skipped breakfast. Elliot just had some coffee, and I went without because we were having an early lunch anyway. So no big deal, ChatGPT. We're cool. Just starve us. No big deal. Well, it's officially snowing. I feel like now would be an excellent time for me to point out that I did ask ChatGPT to send me someplace warm. Although, to be fair, I did say I prefer to go someplace warm. I did use the word prefer, so I am partially to blame for my use of the word prefer. I should not have used the word prefer. I should have said I want to go someplace warm. But alas, here we are in the snow. What can you do? Then we did our tour of the Palace of Holyroodhouse. Suggested that we do that from 9 a.m. until 10:30. A little mistake there. The palace actually doesn't open until 10 a.m. We showed up around 10:15 and toured for about an hour and a half. That was a pretty spot on. Probably would have spent a little bit longer there had it not been so cold and rainy. Probably would have walked around the gardens. Looked like it was very gorgeous out there, but we did a quick loop around the back, but it was very cold and very rainy, so we I decided to move on pretty quickly from there. But the inside of the palace was gorgeous. Really one of the top things to see here in Edinburgh. So well done, ChatGPT. Glad we got that back on the schedule for our new day 3. After that, we walked up to Calton Hill, which is a cliff overlooking the city. It has a few monuments up there, the Nelson Monument and the National Monument to Scotland, as well as the observatory and a few other just random monuments. The Nelson Monument that you can actually climb up to the top of for extra views of the city was closed still because of the windstorm, but I don't think it really would have mattered because it's not that tall and the views from the top of the cliff were pretty cool anyway. And it wasn't too bad of a climb to the top. It was pretty casual just walking up there, not super steep or anything like that. So easy to get up there. It was a little cold and windy up there too. I would say that it was worth it for the views that we were able to see from the top. So another good thing, another top thing to see, and that's actually part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the monuments and things up there on top of the hill. So from there, it had us go down the hill to our lunch destination at the booking office, which is part of a group of pubs across the United Kingdom called the J.D. Wetherspoon Group. It's a super low price pub food. They do table service. You scan a barcode at the table and the waiters and waitresses bring your food directly out to you. It's very low priced, like dinners under £10 or lunches under £10. You can add on a soft drink or a beer for an extra $2 or $3. Very, very inexpensive. I had sausage, beans, and chips, also known as French fries, plus a sticky toffee pudding for about £16, which included a soft drink. Elliot had a shawarma wrap with a side salad and a soft drink, and it was about £10. So a really inexpensive lunch option for you if you're in the city, and it's literally right in the middle of everything. It's on top of the main train station, so it couldn't be more centrally located. Then we moved on to the Scottish National Gallery, which was almost exactly across the street from the booking office where we had lunch. ChatGPT said that it was free to enter, which was true. It said that we should prioritize the following 5 masterpieces: the Reverend Robert Walker Skating on Duddington Loch by Rayburn, which we saw. We've actually found it on our own. We were quite impressed. We saw it before we knew it was one we were looking for. We were drawn to it because we are very sophisticated. The Three Graces by Canova, which was a statue in the middle that's very hard to miss. The Monarch of the Glen, which we had to look up what it was. It's like a big deer. It's more famous, I think, because it is an icon of Scotland than for its actual beauty and artistry. It's basically just a painting of a big old deer. I think it said that it was used on all kinds of different ad campaigns and tin cans and things like that. So it's more of a famous thing than a famous piece of artwork, but it was big and deer-like, so cool to see. And then ChatGPT said we should see Diana and Callisto by Titan, which was not at the museum any longer. We talked to the museum guide there. So there's some sort of an agreement with the National Gallery of London where the painting goes back and forth between this museum and that museum. And finally, the last was the self-portrait by Rembrandt, which we also did find on our own. It was a very dark and mysterious portrait of Rembrandt, but there he was, doing his Rembrandt things, looking all Rembrandty. We poked around all the other art in the museum. It was cool because it was free. It was nice because it was warm in there. We probably spent about 30 minutes walking around the museum. It's not terribly large, which is nice too, because too big of an art museum can be pretty daunting, especially when you're on vacation and just looking for a good time and not necessarily looking to have a art history lesson for half of the day. So 30 minutes was about right in there. ChatGPT said that we should spend an hour there, so we kind of got out of there a little sooner than it had expected. The rest of the day, ChatGPT had us doing some shopping, starting with a walk over to the Kirk Market, which was like a maker's market, they call it. It's kind of like a craft sale where different local crafts people have a little booth set up where they sell their things. I don't know, I've been to things like this before. It's always like cool stuff, but it's also kind of like, okay, do I really need a thing with a cat saying on? I mean, maybe, sure, it's a good gift, it's fun, whatever. And so there's some cool stuff there. It was actually inside of a old church. It was like the grandest craft market I've ever been in. Like the stained glass windows were still intact. It was big bricks around the outside. Like it's just basically just a gigantic abandoned church with all these maker stalls in. But there was probably maybe 10 or 15 maker stalls in there. That was all. So we were in there for maybe 10 minutes, and I think we did 2 laps of the place. ChatGPT said we should spend 45 minutes there, which is even if you were super into each one of the stalls, that would probably be a bit long. So we were in and out in 10, 15 minutes tops. From there, it had us walking down Victoria Street to the Red Door Gallery. We actually stopped in a few different places on the way there that just kind of stood out to us, just different shops along the street. The Red Door Gallery is actually something we saw on the first day that we went in already. So it was nice to see that ChatGPT had anticipated that this is something that we would like. So well done, ChatGPT, for anticipating that. So we had actually already been in there. From there, ChatGPT suggested we go to Mr. Wood's Fossils, a very unique spot, something I probably would not have found on my own. It is a fossil shop that literally sells fossils, rocks, stones, and I don't know, fossilized shark teeth, different rocks with ancient creatures fossilized inside, and actually not that expensive. Like if you actually wanted to buy a fossilized shark tooth, you could for like 15 pounds. So if you've ever wanted fossilized things, they were all there on sale. There was even like a bone from a mammoth that was fossilized for like, I mean, it was super expensive, but if you've ever dreamed of having an actual fossilized mammoth bone, that is the place where you could buy it. I mean, good luck explaining that to customs on the way through. Maybe there's some form they can give you, but hey, that would be your problem for the airport, but that's where you would get it. It was a very cool and unique shop. From there, we walked down the street, visited a few more shops between there and our final destination, according to ChatGPT, which was Armchair Books, which they describe as a charming secondhand bookstore packed with hidden gems. I would say, I don't know, if you were like a book nerd, I guess this would be a cool place. It definitely had like a charming exterior, and like walking up to it, I was like, oh, this place is like a bookstore from the old days. And then you got inside and it was kind of just like a bookstore with floor to ceiling shelves packed with old books in no real order, and it was just a big old mess. If you were into the treasure hunt search of book buying and uncovering a hidden gem, that may be something that you could spend an hour doing, but we were again in and out in about 15 minutes. ChatGPT suggested that we spend 45 minutes there, which we came in well under that. So overall, the afternoon, ChatGPT thought we would spend a lot more time shopping in these tiny little shops than we actually did. Filled in some of that time with different shops in between that ChatGPT did not recommend, but we still managed to get back to the hotel a solid 2 hours before ChatGPT said that we would. So we are back at the hotel. It's about 4:30 p.m. We have dinner reservations.
For our last meal in Edinburgh, we're having dinner at the Devil's Advocate, a spot known for its historic setting and impressive whiskey selection. The vibe? Definitely atmospheric, low lighting, old world charm, and a bit of that hidden alleyway mystique. But let's talk about the food. We started with the charcuterie board, which sounded promising. Scottish cheeses, cured meats, chutney, pickles, and oatcakes. Honestly, the flavors were fine, but nothing stood out. It didn't help that the waiter dropped off the dish without giving an explanation of the cheeses or what to expect on the board. For mains, we had the venison with mustard, crushed potatoes, and cranberry jus. The meat was a little cold and the flavors didn't quite come together. The pork fillet with honey roasted carrots and cider cream sounded amazing, but again, just okay. Not bad, but not memorable. And to be honest, the service didn't help. Apathetic, slow, and kind of just there. For the price, we expected way more. ChatGPT recommended it to us. Would we recommend it to you? Probably not.
Overall, for the trip, I would say, despite day 2 being a complete bust due to the storm, we were able to pack in everything that we were planning to do on day 1 and 2 into our day 1 and day 3. We did lose out on much of our day 3, which was going to be some day trips outside of the city to see some other things around Castle and things like that. But if the goal was to see Edinburgh, we have succeeded in seeing Edinburgh. This has been a fun adventure exploring Edinburgh with the use of artificial intelligence. Tomorrow, we head back home.
Finally, upper class. That's where I deserve to be.